Hey friends, it's Tracy. Welcome to today's video. I am sharing an upcycle craft with making some cute faces using my Cricut. I am also going to share the tray idea of how I made this tray. This is something that you see in my videos because I love it so much. And I also want to share where I got the inspiration. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Let me share how I created these cutie patooties. Okay, I am just starting with some bottles that I have had on hand for, a bit, and I like them because they had like black tops on them. And so the tall one or the skinny one is from olive oil. The medium one is from like wing sauce or something like that. And then I have some salt and pepper shakers that I picked up from the Target dollar spot recently. And so I was, what drew me to them is the black tops. And I was like, those are going to look really cute in my snowman. And so I have run them through my dishwasher, took all the labels off and all that kind of stuff. And so then I'm also going to be using some soft snow that I picked up from Hobby Lobby, after Christmas. And then also some twinkling flakes. I'm not quite sure. It just said snow on the green label, but it kind of is iridescent and just it reminds me of glistening snow. That's what it reminds me of. Before I design my cute faces in Design Space, I need to measure how much space I have to work with. So I just have my tape measure here, and I'm just measuring the width and the height of the jars of how much space that I'm going to have, because then I'm going to pull a template shape so that I can design my cute face in Design Space, so I know how much room I have to cut. So I will continue to do the other jars as well. And what I mean by a shape, Cricut Design Space has like templates as well as shapes that, we can use to kind of measure our design. And so I'll just continue to write down my measurements, and then that will give me the information of what I need when I go into Design Space. So here I am in Design Space. So I want to go down to shapes, and I'm just pulling a square. And the first one I want to do is the large jar or bottle. And so I go up and I just change the width and the height to 2 inches by 4.5. And then that just kind of gives me a template. I changed the color white so that I could work with it a bit better. And this is just going to give me a template to design my face on. I'll do this for each one of my snowman faces. Now, I have access to all of these snowman faces. The Access program is well worth it in my opinion. I just, really feel that it just gives, as a Cricut user, it just really gives us the opportunity to use all of these, images that are included. It is a monthly, or you can pay annually, but just wanted to share that as it, the options. Okay, so then this is the first one that I did, pulled in. And so as you can kind of see, when I skewed it a bit, it kind of like scrunched it up. So I need to manipulate that, the sizes a bit. And I do that by just unlocking it at the bottom left corner. And then I just go through, and I know this may be a little bit advanced for some, but what I'm doing is I'm using a lot of the buttons. I'm duplicating some. I'm going to hide because the eyes were too far apart. So I duplicated it, and then I'm just, kind of arranging it the way that I want it to, by hiding the contour, hiding one making another one visible. And the more that you use your Cricut, or the more I use my Cricut and I play around with it and I figure out, oh, what does this do? What does that do? Then that really helps me. So I will do this for all 6 of my bottles. Once I got all my faces in the shapes that I want, now on the right hand side you can see where the eyeball is, and you can see all of the different names. That is a grouping for each individual small snowman face. And so what I decide, or what helps me, is I cut things out individually. So I'm hiding all of these faces and the square so that I can just work with one at a time. And then I need to, since these are all different colors, and I am using some reusable vinyl on my bottles, so that way if I don't want it to be permanent. That way if I want to, if I get bored with that, I can take off this, take off the faces and use the bottles for, another project. Okay, so I have my bottle here, also have a funnel, and this is what works best for me. I just put in a little of the snow, and sometimes it gets kind of clogged up, so I have to shake it down, and then I will just add a little of the flakes, the glistening snow. I'll add that in there. And then to mix it up, I just put the cap back on, and then I shake it up so that it all kind of goes around. And that's how I filled my bottles. All right, this is how my bottles look once I get, or my jars look, once I got all the snow in there. I had to use like a small tool. I used one of my little tools that I had, and kind of had to, help it along once with the funnel, and that kind of helped get the stuff in there much faster. Okay, so I have all of my vinyl cut out, and what I've done is I've layered them like this, and I want to show you with this one how I do it. Because they're different colors, I had to cut them out separately. So like this is the big one that's going to go on this bottle right here. So I have the, winking eye and the little smile. And so then I have the nose. And what I did is I just, it had little slits in it, but I didn't want those slits. So I just welded it all together so that I would just have one. And I kind of like pull it off like as a sticker. And so then I'm trying to look at my computer and then also kind of guide it a little. And actually, I think I need to go off of the paper just a tad. And then I will put the cheeks. So then I have my transfer tape that I'm going to transfer it on so that I can then transfer it to my jar. I know it's kind of like transfer. Anyway, this is my favorite transfer tape. A link for it will be in the description box if you're interested. So once I have the whole face transferred on, I'm just looking at my bottle just to make sure that everything is lined up, and then I'm going to take my little tools and just burnish it and just kind of make sure that it comes off, and then that's good. I don't put any kind of sealer or anything on it because, like I said, I wanted this to be reusable if I want to, or be able to take this off if I want to use these jars again. So then I have this Posca white paint marker, and just going through and just putting dashes in where the nose is just to give it some definition. Also in the eyes, I will just add just some, just dots, and kind of like in the cheeks, I will add like some swooshes and just add some white dots. I really feel that this just really kind of brings these little character faces to life. I'm just ripping strips of homespun fabric that is black and, cream, and just cutting off pieces of that and just tying it around the neck of each bottle just to give it some, different color and character. Next up, I'm going to share how I created the stand that these cute snowman bottles are. I'm showcasing them on because I made this tray a few years ago and I use it a lot in my pictures and in my videos. Okay, what I used is 2 packs of these 2 sets of salt and pepper shakers from the Dollar Tree. I just, untwisted the lid, and what I'm going to do is glue the lid like upside down on the bottom, like where the top of the, salt and pepper shaker is. I'm using this to my advantage to give me extra height, and I'm just using some hot glue to do that. I also want to mention that this tray was inspired by something that I saw on the Latina Next Door on Yami's channel. I was totally inspired, and I created one for myself, just putting my own special touches and spin on it. To paint these legs of the tray, I'm just using this white chalk paint by Waverly, which is found at Walmart, and so this is how my jar looks. And I was just kind of sharing that I want the indentation of the of this particular salt and pepper shaker to show a bit, and sometimes when I'm painting like bottles like this, I will paint the one, part of it first, let that dry, and then I'll go back and paint the other side so that I have something, to hold on to. For the top of the tray, I'm using 4 of these small blocks that were offered at the Dollar Tree. It has the black and white buffalo check on it. I'm just going to glue those together. First thing I want to do is make sure that my buffalo check patterns line up, and then once I figure out that they do, I'm just using hot glue to attach them all together. It held well for me, but one may want to use super glue or E6000 or something like that. I gave this top coat 2 coats of white chalk paint, and I like the slits in it. It gives me the feeling of the lines for shiplap, and so I really like that. Again, I gave this 2 coats of the white chalk paint. To add some distressing, I just have some black acrylic paint here and a stencil brush that's kind of whimsy, and I'm just going to go over it, just hitting the high points just to give it some color and just definition. And then once that's dry, then I'm going to add some distress ink. And I just used my, finger dauber and some distress ink just to give it some shading to this tray. But I'm going to be honest with you, once I put the liquid varnish on it, it smeared the ink, and so I wish I would have used antique wax or either just some brown paint to add the shading, and so I would not recommend using the ink. Anyway, also if you see a pumpkin in the video, I had made this tray during the fall season, and I had made some little cute pumpkins. And so anyway, but I'm just sharing right here in this video, I'm just sharing how I put and made this tray. I used some of these tumbling tower blocks from the Dollar Tree just to give some height or just to glue so I could, get my legs to stand up just a bit more, and I just glued those underneath the tray.